What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. Today, I'll be talking about some manufacturers that could join NASCAR either in the near future or in the far future. There has been a lot of talk conversations in the last couple years about certain manufacturers potentially making a return to the sport or coming into the sport for the first time. Today, I'll be talking about 7 of these manufacturers that have at times been linked to a potential run in NASCAR in the near future. So anyways, let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. The first manufacturer that could join NASCAR in the near future is Honda. Now, I've been paying attention over the last few weeks. There's been a lot of chatter that Honda could leave IndyCar in the near future. If they don't fix their issues when it comes to their hybrid system, they don't get in by 2026, Honda may leave IndyCar altogether. And in that same article where it was mentioned, Honda talked about potentially making a move over to NASCAR or going fully into their Formula One program, which of course will be working with Aston Martin starting in 2026, as of course Red will be leaving Honda to go to Ford when they join the sport in 2026. Look, Honda has been mentioned multiple different times over the course of the last few years. We've heard conversations about Honda trying to come to NASCAR all the way back to like 2016 or 2017. And they have been the most prevalent manufacturer that has had conversations about coming to the sport. Now, obviously, if Honda was to join NASCAR, what teams could go to them? Well, one of those teams is Spire Motorsports. Spire Motorsports, while they do have deep Chevy ties, Spire Motorsports is a team that's been working with Andretti Autosport, or Andretti Global now. And Andretti has a big work with that team. Now, obviously, Andretti could switch to Chevy if they wanted to in IndyCar, but I think Spire Motorsports will be one of those organizations that could jump first. The second team is Chip Ganassi Racing, coming back to NASCAR. Chip Ganassi Racing has not been in NASCAR since 2021, and while they do have a big work with Cadillac, they certainly could make the jump over to NASCAR and be very, very successful again, especially if they brought some of the drivers of IndyCar or work with some underdogs like a Matt DiBenedetto perhaps to really build up that team and really build up that program. I think Honda will be one of the manufacturers to watch for sure, and there's a chance that they could join the sport in the near future. I think they're the most likely manufacturer that could make the jump. If it happens, it'll be 2026 or 2027 at the earliest, and it could get announced sometime early this year. The second manufacturer that could join NASCAR is Cadillac. Now, why do I mention Cadillac as a higher-up manufacturer on the list? Well, a massive reason is because of GM. There is a little bit of uncertainty when it comes to Chevy. Obviously, the Camaro is going out of stock either at the end of this year or next year in 2025. And some people think that Cadillac could be a potential replacement for Chevrolet, or Cadillac could join as a fourth manufacturer. Now, obviously, if Cadillac was to join as a fourth manufacturer, what teams could go here? Well, one of those organizations is Stewart-Haas Racing. Stewart-Haas Racing, there's a lot of talk and conversations behind the scenes that SHR could switch manufacturers perhaps at the end of 2024 because their contract with Ford expires at the end of the 2024 season. And a lot of people feel like that Stewart-Haas Racing is currently not happy with the way things are going with Ford. And they've been behind on getting the new Ford Mustang Dark Horse body. So that's another reason why they could leave. And also you look at some of the drivers, that being Noah Gragson and Josh Berry, who are former SHR drivers. That could be a big reason there. And then I mentioned again Chip Ganassi Racing. Chip Ganassi Racing has a big work with Cadillac in the IMSA series. I know they work with Honda quite a bit too, but Cadillac will be another manufacturer that easily could come in. And also Chip Ganassi Racing has had association with GM brands in the past. You look at their brand that they had with Chevy back in the day. I think that this would be a really good team to go with if Cadillac was to join, or maybe they'll come in and be the manufacturer that replaces Chevy, though I think Chevy will likely stay around. Cadillac could definitely be a manufacturer that makes the jump. The third manufacturer that could join NASCAR is Nissan. Nissan, I think, has been mentioned multiple different times in the past of being a potential sponsor that could join NASCAR. They've got a couple different brands of cars that are being used that look similar to NASCAR's, like 370Z and other brands of things that Nissan does have. And they also have a Nissan truck as well. That would be pretty easy to get into the sport. Now, Nissan obviously is one of the faster growing brands in the world today, and Nissan would be a very solid manufacturer in general, with them being one of the more faster growing brands. They can maybe make the jump over. Now, are they the most likely? No, absolutely not. But I think if Nissan was to come into the sport, I think they could be very successful and bring some drivers over, especially from IMSA. I think Nissan's got some associated with IMSA, if I'm not mistaken. And in general, I think they would be a manufacturer that could come in and be very solid. The next manufacturer that could make the jump to NASCAR is BMW. BMW has been expanding to multiple forms of racing, including IMSA, which Jim France is a co-owner of the IMSA series. And they've also, I think, had talks in the past about maybe coming to NASCAR as well. I think BMW has a couple cars that are up for sale and that they could end up using if they were to make the jump over to the sport. I think it'll be 2027 or 2028. I know they're kind of think part of the Volkswagen brand. We'll talk about Volkswagen here in just a little bit. But BMW has been associated with a lot of different forms. Formula One, I don't think they've ever been associated with IndyCar, but they've been associated with a lot of different forms. And if they were to do some sort of electric series as well, which has been a lot of talk about an electric series coming into play the last couple of years, BMW could definitely be in the work there. They've also got a hybrid system that's going in all their cars as well. I think BMW would be extremely successful if they were to make the jump over to the sport. The next manufacturer that could jump over to NASCAR is Dodge. Now, Dodge has been one of the more prevalent manufacturers that's had conversations of returning to the sport. Dodge had a run from 2001 to 2012. They also were prevalent back in the 60s, 70s, even I think the early 80s as well. But Dodge had a run from 2001 to 2012, and they had a next-gen car that was available for 2013. Not next-gen car, a Gen 6 car available for 2013. But obviously that ended up not happening. They were going to have a team of Kurt Busch, and I also believe Matt Kenseth. That's a big reason why Kurt Busch ended up running the 2014 Indy 500 is because he was going to drive for Andretti Autosport in 2013. Now, over the last year or two, there's been a lot of reports that they were talking about getting in, maybe in 2023, but that ended up falling through. They actually had conversations at RFK Racing, as a matter of fact, about them making a jump, considering Brad was with Dodge for a few years in 2009, late 2009, all the way to the end of 2012. But Dodge definitely would be a very, very solid branding to come back to the sport. They've been in the sport in the past, and in general, I think they would in general be a very, very solid and great manufacturer to bring back to the sport. They haven't been in NASCAR quite some time, but I think they would be a pretty good manufacturer to bring in if they were to come back. The next manufacturer that could join NASCAR is Hyundai. Hyundai, among other manufacturers, is one of the faster growing brands in the world, especially in the United States. And Hyundai is more American than certain manufacturers in the U.S. as well. Now, Hyundai is a brand that has definitely had some talks and conversations, I think, about expanding into motorsports. They're really not in any motorsports currently at the moment right now, to my understanding, but they do bring a little bit of work. And obviously, Hyundai does kind of work, I think, with Toyota, maybe, if I'm not mistaken. So they would be able to get some help probably from Toyota in Japan as well. I think Hyundai would be a very fun manufacturer to bring in, and maybe, just maybe, not so far down the road, Hyundai will be one of those manufacturers that makes a jump into the sport. And the last manufacturer I'm talking about today is Volkswagen. Volkswagen is a very, very fast-growing brand. They've got multiple different brandings that are part of the Volkswagen chain, and Volkswagen, of course, is involved with other different forms of racing as well. I think they're involved in IMSA. I think they're also involved with Formula E as well. And they are a German branding. We obviously know NASCAR has talked about going to Europe as well, and that could attract some European manufacturers like Volkswagen. Have also, of course, a manufacturer like BMW. I think Volkswagen does have a couple cars that are available in their stable that would definitely help bring him in. So will they come in? It's definitely something to watch for sure, but I think Volkswagen is a manufacturer to watch as a possibility of joining the sport. So those are all the manufacturers that I think could join NASCAR in the not-so-distant future. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support my Patreon as well. Links are below that, and comment below your thoughts on today's video. What manufacturers do you see joining the sport in the future? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I got a lot of great content dropping on the channel over the course of the next 2 weeks. On Wednesday, I'm going to have 2025 NASCAR Silly Season predictions dropping. I've also got some lineup videos that are going to be dropping here for Xfinity and trucks soon. We're also getting close to the Clash, so we have prediction videos dropping about other things coming out really, really soon. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.